Hey guys, Mr. Horton here with virtual backup lessons for Studio Art 1, Studio Art 2, and Film Appreciation and Cinematography. Okay, before we even get started on the shading, a general rule of thumb with this project is try to work at a diagonal when doing the shadows for this entire step, if you can. For the guys in the classroom, this is going to be easy because the desk can angle, but for at home, hopefully you can find a way to do this at home somehow. By taping your picture down on a diagonal surface, but it will help the drawing. Okay, so here I am with my drawing and my source image, which again is desaturated. It's the image in your source folder that has the DE at the end of it. Okay, and now I'm going to start with my lightest shading tone, which is the 4H, which isn't going to move very much, but it's right here. Okay, now I'm going to go through my source image and I'm going to find every spot on the picture that I think is the lightest shadow areas. Okay, and I'm going to draw in and contain them. So if I were to look at this desaturated picture of Wolverine as a whole, I would say that the lightest areas of shadow are his skin, or parts of his skin, because his skin still does have two tones in it. I would say the shoulder stripe that he has, there's some parts of the chest, some parts of the pants, and he has a little bit of a bicep showing on the left side. Oh, and the claws too definitely have some degree of that light shadow. So I'm going to go through and starting with the face here, and I'll zoom in so hopefully you can see this somewhat. I'm going to start just shading this in, and again, there's no real way to do this. You just kind of got to take the pencil and start coloring in, and hopefully when you drew your picture, hopefully you detailed it to a point where by doing this, you're not washing away your underline. So there I go. I colored in that whole area, lighter shadow. Now I'll be back in 1 second. I'm gonna do the entire picture, every area that I think has 4H. Okay, so I'm back here and I've gone through and I've done all the sections of my drawing that have the lightest shadow, which, to be fair, on mine, there's not a lot of light shadow on mine. It's mostly mid and dark tones. Okay, so I did the skin, I did a little part of Wolverine's mask right here, I did the strap going around the neck, I did the spike right here, I did his bicep, I did some stuff on the chest right here, some stuff right here. I did the lower ab area, some parts of the belt, and then mostly I did the leg, and then I did some of the claws, but not all of them because, again, if you go back to my source image here, that's a mid or a dark tone, so I didn't bother putting it in because I'll put it in later. Now, at this point, I'm going to take one of my blenders or the homemade blender or your finger, and I am going to, with the diagonal and with the point in detailed spots, I'm just going to kind of move the ink around as best I could, move the pencil ink around, pencil line, just to get rid of the stroke. Again, the 4H pencil is not going to move a lot. It's gonna smooth out, so you don't see the in between negative space of the paper behind it. But it's not going to do anything crazy. Like it's really not. Like it's going to be on the blender a little bit. Through the claws. I am tracing along the line. I'm not doing stuff like just taking the thing and going like that, because that will smudge it out a little bit. You don't want to do that. The mask. I'm going to go really careful on the face because I have detail in here, so I don't want to lose this. But if you do lose some detail, all I got to do is go back in with the 4H, and I got to just like press a little bit on what I wanted to keep. So, and remember, don't ever carry a darker blender. So if you use this blender on like a 6B, don't ever carry the 6B into something that's a lighter area. It'll make it darker. Okay, so let's go to the next tone, which is a number 2 pencil. Now this is my mid-tone. Now again, I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to go through the drawing. I'm going to find all of my mid-tones, and I am going to do the same thing. I'm going to basically contain them. So let me show you a containment point that I could show you. So on the shoulder blade here, I have 2 tones here. I have a mid-tone for most of the shot, for most of the shoulder. And then right here, I have a dark tone. And then in various spaces, I have white reflection, which I'm going to put in last on top of everything. I'm going to tell you guys to use the white charcoal or white color pencil. So if I were to draw in the mid-tone here, I'm going to just loosely draw in where I think the dark tone goes, which is about this. It's not exact. Okay? And then I'm going to color in this whole area mid-tone. Now I'm going to do this throughout the whole picture. Do the whole picture in mid-tones. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. I've gone through all of Wolverine and I've put in all the mid-tones. This is a drastic amount more than what I just showed you. But like I said, my picture is mostly mid and dark tones. So I went through pretty much everywhere. I got the shoulder blade, which I started at, and then I worked through the chest and then down here on the pants and everything else. So same process. I'm now going to take my blenders and I'm going to go to the middle tone and I'm going to blend in those middle tone areas. And I'm going to kind of stay with the line in the middle tone, meaning, again, I'm not going crazy and going like this so it smudges out. If that happens, it's okay. Just erase it. I'm just going to kind of stay in the area and I'm going to just kind of push and move the ink around. You're going to feel this ink a little bit, the number 2. Okay? You're going to feel it. It's going to move. It's going to get smoky a little bit. Do this through the whole picture, everywhere you put the number 2 down on. Okay? You're going to lose some detail, so go slow. If you lose any important detail, like for example, on Wolverine's face, I have 2 number 2 shadow points. Okay? Just make sure you go back over with a number 2 pencil or a 4H and maybe edge the lines back out. Go slow. Be right back. Okay, so now I'm back. I've now blended in all of the middle tone in, and now I am finally moving to my dark tone, which again, I told you guys I'm going to use a 6B. Okay? I'm using a 6B instead of an ebony because the ebony is a little bit glossier, like it reflects light a little bit more, and I don't want to really do that so much on this, so which is why I'm using the 6B. Now again, I'm going to go through, I'm going to find my 6B points in this picture, all my darkest points, and I'm just going to color them in. I'm going to contain them and then color them in, and then same process, I'm going to color in and I'm going to blend. Okay, so for example, on the shoulder blade, you can see how much darker, the darker tone. And now I'm going to go through, and again, so I'll be right back, color in the whole thing. This is going to be a drastic cut. All right, so we're back, and the 6B is now in, the 3rd tone. And now you can really get a sense of the texture of this thing. Okay, just to show you guys, I've been working on this in one sitting, just how dirty my hand is. And remember, watch, because the ink on your fingers will carry into lighter areas. So in general, my whole picture is kind of smoky. Now again, I'm going to take a blender, and now this time I'm going to be super careful that I'm not carrying the 6B into any area it doesn't need to be carried in. Okay, be right back, going to blend the whole thing. All right, so here we are, the 3rd tone. The 6B is now blended. You'll notice it's very smoky now. Next up, I'm going to take my eraser, and I'm going to erase away any smokiness that I don't want. I am also going to use this eraser to tone up anything that was too dark. Be right back. All right, so here we are now, erased. You're going to see that, in particular, the grid that was touching my character now is kind of gone in places. That's fine. Okay. I also use the eraser to erase out some lighter spots around the body. It's very smoky now. You'll notice that all that minute line I put in is now kind of hard to see. Okay. So my next 2 steps of this, my first thing is going to be, I'm going to take a number 2 pencil. I'm going to make sure the number 2 pencil is super sharp. And I'm also going to make sure my hand's clean. I'm going to wash my hand so there's no smoke on it. And I'm going to go back through the whole picture and I'm going to edge out. Again, basically the step of redrawing the character. I'm going to go back through. I'm not going to really go by the grid anymore. I'm just going to kind of look at it and try to draw it, edge it back out. Okay? And then number 2, we are about to go into using the white pencil, white charcoal, white chalk charcoal to lighten up the super light areas. We'll do that after I show you this. So I'm going to go back through with the number 2 pencil right now, and I'm going to just edge everything out again. Okay, so now I've gone through with the number 2 pencil, the sharp number 2 pencil, and I've outlined again my whole drawing again to pop the contour line back out. Now, the final big step of this project is you guys either have a white charcoal pencil, you guys have a white chalk. I gave you either or depending on what I thought would help you more, okay? And then for you guys who are remote at home, not coming in, you guys have your white color pencils. And then for this next step, what you're going to do is you're going to go through the picture and you're going to find any spot that is a direct light reflection, any spot that you really can constitute as being like white. So on my Wolverine picture, I would say the most definite spot I'm going to do this on is going to be his claws, which are going to reflect light and have white spots on them. So I'm going to go through with the white and I'm going to come back in a second. All right, so here I am back. I've whited out all my highlight points. It literally looks completely more rounded now. Now, the very final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this whole thing up. And what I mean by that is I'm going to erase the entire grid in the background. Just get rid of it because I don't want it. But that's optional. If you want to keep the grid, you can keep the grid. It's fine. If you even want to redraw in the grid in the background because you like how it looks and you like how it pops the foreground thing off, you could keep that. But I'm going to go through and erase the grid and make mine look clean. All right, here it is, clean and done. This is going to be the image that I photograph and submit for the project grade for Google Classroom and the assignments thing. This is our second big project grade. The first one was the drawing of this. This is the second one, which is the shading and the cleaning of it. Okay, worth 100 points. Submit it to Google Classroom. Any questions, just email me. See you guys in class.